Welcome to the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show, where you get advice you can trust. From home selling tips to investing, this is the talk show that will help you make the most money when selling your most valuable asset and save the most money when buying. Now here are your hosts, Dave McKay, along with Wally Kerr, broker and founder of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty in Oklahoma City.
Well, good morning, Wally. Happy Saturday morning to you.
Happy Saturday to you, Dave. You know why I'm happy? There's more football today.
Yes, there is.
Boy, if we have listeners that are not football fans, they're probably not liking us already. But, yeah, it's a great day. It's pretty outside. Fall is here, isn't it?
Absolutely. Temperature's still a little bit warm, but pretty soon we'll be into the heart of pumpkin spice latte season.
I'm already drinking pumpkin-flavored coffee from 7-Eleven.
Okay.
They brought it back recently. So there's the plug for 7-Eleven today. So
there you go. And speaking of sponsors of the show, Chris Doak with Gateway Mortgage and Best Protect Roofing and Construction, proud to be a part of the show each and every week.
Appreciate them very much. A couple of our great partners. Got lots of people we work with, but a couple of big ones there. So I'm ready to kick off the show today. What about you?
I'm ready. I want to hear about what we're going to talk about today.
Got a funny story for you. I titled this one, What Time Do You Want to Tour Some Homes? So we'll talk about that.
Okay.
Dave, a topic today for a lot of home sellers. They'll be surprised to hear that these are 5 things today we're going to talk about that appraisers want a home seller to know.
Okay.
Up front. 6 half-truths that can actually derail your home sale when you're selling.
Oh, this will be interesting.
This will be an interesting segment today.
Okay.
And then I'm going to start today for the next 5 weeks, Dave, what not to say when you're selling your home.
This is going to be valuable.
What not to say and let on. We're also going to end our show today talking about why home prices haven't fallen here in the Oklahoma City Metro.
Okay.
I think we'll have a great show today. I'll also talk about some open houses and new listings we've got this week.
Fantastic. Stick around.
To schedule an appointment with Wally Kerr to help you or a family member buy or sell a home, call or text at 405-330-3000 or go to wallysguarantee.com. Wally will be right back with more of the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show right here on KOKC.
The market is shifting. Do you know what to do? If you're selling a home, you need to realize that market demand is changing, and it's changing now. More homes are coming on the market than homes that are actually selling, so the inventory is going up. What does rising inventory mean? Prices can soften. It's important you get on the train right now and understand what you need to do to sell a home. First of all, my Guaranteed Home Sale program will create more demand for your home because I can buy someone else's home so that they can buy yours. If you're thinking about selling by owner, I can create more demand for your home than you can ever create on your own. I'm Wally Kerr, and I believe in aggressive marketing. My wife and I have done this for 36 years together, and we now have a team of 28 people. If you'd like to create more demand for your home so that your home will sell faster and for top dollar, give me a call today at 405-330-4000 at Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. I'd love to meet with you and discuss a strategy and plan for getting your home sold. Call me at 330-4000. I look forward to talking to you myself.
Finding the right mortgage can be stressful, from knowing which program fits your situation the best to identifying the best terms. Hi, I'm Chris Doak with Gateway Mortgage. I work closely with you every step of the way, from pre-qualification to helping you choose the home loan that's right for you. My promise is to provide transparency, timely communication, personal service, and closings on time. Call me today at 405-253-2276. That's 405-253-2276.
NMLS 984758. Gateway Mortgage, a division of Gateway First Bank. NMLS 7233. Equal housing lender.
Best Protect Roofing and Construction has been serving the Oklahoma community since 2017 with trusted professionals and a proven track record. Best Protect Roofing and Construction has the local knowledge to ensure every roofing project is compliant and hassle-free. They offer free roof inspections to assess damage, provide accurate quotes, and recommend the best solution for your home. Call today, 405-473-9599. Best Protect Roofing and Construction.
If you or a family member will be selling or buying a home and would like to schedule an appointment with Wally, call 405-330-3000 or go to wallysguarantee.com. Now back to the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show with Wally Kerr.
You just slip out the bag, Jack, and make a new plan, Stan. You don't need to be coy. Okay, they probably had enough of that. We actually were singing that on the break. I'm sorry, folks, whenever the commercials were playing. So he was singing it, and I joined in. We just figured we'd do that together. So
it's a great lead into our funny story of the week.
This one's super fast. So this comes from Scott Bacon. Scott was recently appointed sales manager on our team. He's an incredibly great agent. Okay. He's been with me for 14 years, Dave. He just loves customer customer satisfaction. He's very, very detailed in what he does. Scott, thank you for everything you do for our team and for the great customer experiences. So I asked at a sales meeting a couple of weeks ago, and he shared this one, Dave. He had a guy that wanted to go see homes.
Okay.
Scott asked, hey, when are you available to go see these homes? And he said, I'd like to see the homes at midnight because I want to make sure the homes aren't haunted. That's a true story.
I really thought you were going to say he wants to be there. He's an early riser. Can we stop by the house at 5:30 in the morning or 6? But wow. Okay, that's a good one. All right, so we'll hear another one next week.
You bet.
This is going to be an interesting topic. 5 things appraisers want home sellers to know. Okay, so isn't it safe to think that a home is going to appraise for basically what it sells for? Because usually I think the home prices and the appraisal prices usually go hand in hand. I could be wrong, but is that the truth? And how can a homeowner make sure that they're best prepared for appraisal day?
Well, 2 questions there. So let's answer the first one. The market has changed, and appraisers are aware of that. Underwriters are aware of that. And so the answer to that is no, it's not going to just appraise for what the sales price is. But I'll tell you that the appraisers will work to try to hit that value. Dave, I've had 3 or 4 or 5 appraisals that have come in low, either for me or for the agents working for me.
Okay.
First thing they do is say, hey, Wally, they call up, I've got an appraisal that came in low. Can you take a look at this appraisal? And it's sort of like a doctor looking at an x-ray. It's really true. It's a learned skill. It's not as easy as, hey, I'm looking at a neighborhood and one home sold for $140 a foot, one sold for $150 a foot, and one sold for $160 a foot. So the average is $150, and the house is 3,000 square feet, so it automatically appraises for $450,000.
Yeah.
Dave, I looked at an appraisal a couple of days ago that a consumer had a question on. Dave, the appraisal was 54 pages long.
Wow.
A 54-page appraisal. It was about $1,000, so it combined some residential and commercial together. But we'll talk a little bit about what appraisers have to do to be able to perform that duty. So is it just going to appraise for the sales price? No, absolutely not. It's going to take into consideration a lot of factors that we could never cover here today. I'm going to tell you that most appraisers will work to find comparable sales to get it there, but that doesn't always happen. We're in a market right now where there's just not as many homes on the market for sale, right?
Yes.
I've been talking about that for weeks.
Yes.
Which means for the average home, there's not as many comparable home sales. Does that make sense?
That's true. Got
to use data. So let's go to your second question, and that is, how does a home seller best prepare for appraisal day? I think is what you called it, right? So number one, keep in mind that home appraisers are not magicians. They can't pull a rabbit out of a hat.
Sure.
The appraiser doesn't know what your home is worth. It's not just walking in and saying, I think it's worth this.
Sure.
Dave, Wednesday of this week, I had an appointment, and I went in and looked at a home that was about 3,000 feet in size with a pool and a spa, and it was about a 50-year-old home. And I took the tour of the home, and she said, so what do you think it's worth?
It's a loaded question.
Well, absolutely. So if it takes an appraiser 2 or 3 days to complete an appraisal, how in the world can I come in and bark out a number? If I'm too high, she's going to cling on to that number.
Sure.
If I quote too low, she's very disappointed.
Yes.
I need to go back and spend at least a day working on data, going through my mind, what the home's got, what are those things worth, and getting it down on paper and working up an analysis.
You mentioned a skill. So now I'm kind of coming around to that because you're right. There are numbers that come into play. You have what we always refer to as comps. So you have the data from the comps in the area that will help out a little bit. Now, we always know that, well, that's great. They're both the same square footage. Price could be the same, but this one has a pool. This one has a safe room, different things that are on it that could skew the value. So that's where the skill has to come in, knowing that, okay, well, this house was built in this year and this one was 2 years older. And I would imagine, yes, that takes some time because you have a lot of different factors that go into doing appraisal.
So the very same day as she and I were talking and I did the tour, we sat down and visited for a bit. And she said, well, I know there's a home over on this street that sold and it was $213 a square foot. So we pulled that data up, and I said, oh, well, that was an 1,100 square foot home that's 2 bedrooms. Your home is closer to 3,000 feet with 3 or possibly 4 bedrooms. So I went back through the appraiser's guidelines that they have to follow, just some simple guidelines so that mortgage can be sold in the secondary marketplace to Fannie Mae standards. And so it's basically this: stick in the same neighborhood if they can, look at the most recent sales data.
Okay.
They really want the data in the last 6 months as opposed to going back a full year. Can you guess why?
Well, the home values can really spike.
The markets have changed, right? Okay,
absolutely.
So they want more current data. They want typically within 15% in size on square footage. So if you got a 3,000 square foot home, they're looking at comps generally 15% smaller, up to 15% bigger. That would be something like on a 3,000 square foot home, that's a 450 square foot difference, bigger or smaller. So if you're comparing a 3,000 square foot home, the comparables would generally be between around 2,500, 2,550 feet, up to 3,600 feet. So you don't compare, and an appraiser won't compare, a 3,000 square foot home to a 2,000 square foot home.
Sure.
Because it's 50% of difference.
Sure.
Right? So what if you had a home that was built in 1940, but it had been gutted and remodeled? So it's not like a 1940 home anymore.
You're right.
That's called economic value.
Okay.
There's a lot of things to consider there. What's most important is realizing that appraisers want to look apples to apples. You mentioned a pool a minute ago.
Yes.
Now, a pool's a big add-on.
That's right.
Okay, she had a beautiful pool, probably worth $130,000, $150,000 in the backyard.
Okay.
When there's a pool like that, most appraisers won't go appraise that home and compare it to a home that doesn't have a pool.
Sure.
You're looking for comparables and trying to defend the value of what that pool is worth.
If you don't have that,
probably not going to use those comparables if the other sales don't have pools.
Okay.
So shop buildings, pools, those are big add-on items. They cost a lot of money. Now, would an appraiser go into, say, your neighborhood where you and Kim live?
Yes.
And would they appraise your home that maybe doesn't have an above-ground safe room to another home that does have an above-ground safe room? Sure. That's what we call a line item adjustment.
Sure.
Maybe that's a $3,000 or $4,000 adjustment. But it's not like a pool that's worth $75,000 or $100,000 or $150,000.
If there was no one in that neighborhood that didn't have a pool that size or even the square footage,
now they'll look outside the neighborhood.
Yeah, and how far out could you go?
That's very subjective. So I've seen appraisers go in, and without getting too far into the appraisal process, they'll go in and look for the best comparable sales. And I've seen reports where they've said these comparable sales were deemed to be the best ones available at the time of the appraisal.
Okay. Now, what about getting ready for appraisal day? You know they're coming. Do you got to start fixing up things, or is it best to leave it as is?
Well, if you want your value to come in as is, you leave it as is. But this is a great question because they're not supposed to come by and judge the cleanliness of your home, but I can tell you from experience that it is good to declutter and dust and mop beforehand to show off your home's best attributes. Even if they're not consciously aware of it, the appraiser might actually value a messy home a little bit lower. So I'd say tidy up.
Even though the buyer and seller have agreed to a price, can a seller still influence the appraiser's opinion?
Yeah, I think that an appraiser who walks into a home that's nice and clean and tidy and the lights are on and it's ready for showings and everybody's up and it's easy access to go inside the home, in many cases, in fact, in most cases, I go meet the appraiser, shake their hand. Hey, here's a list of improvements. That's our next topic here that I wrote is how do you get the value out of what you've done inside your property. So that's where Wally shows up on the doorstep. I've got a Word document. I've got an Excel spreadsheet with everything that's been done as far as major improvements.
And that looks like you're really buttoned up on everything. It makes that's a great show to the appraiser that
if they can go in and demonstrate and say, when I bought the home, it had older HVAC, and now I went in and replaced with a new HVAC system. I've replaced my water heater. I replaced with replacement windows, and I got that federal tax credit because I chose Energy Star windows and replaced the windows on the home.
Yes.
I've replaced the roof shingles. There was some duct work that needed to be replaced inside the home. I've replaced countertops and appliances. For me to walk in and meet an appraiser, let's say that the home is vacant, my sellers have moved to Philadelphia, I walk in with a list of improvements. Here's what the owners have done. These are the major improvements. They bought it for this 12 years ago. They've done all of these things. We had great demand. We had 3 offers on the property. People were fighting for it. We feel like this is market value, and we want to back that up with all of this data and this checklist and spreadsheet. So If you're not a detailed person, I would recommend you sit down at your computer if you think you're going to be selling in the future and begin documenting what you've done over the years to the best of your knowledge. And if you've got costs for those things,
Oh, yes.
if you keep receipts and you've got them tucked inside a folder in a cabinet somewhere, get out and document that. Something we've talked about recently on the show, and that's solar panels.
Oh,
Folks,
okay,
if you're
yes,
listening,
yes.
again, an appraisal for solar panels, the appraiser can give value, but they've got to find 3 or 4 other comparable sales in the same neighborhood,
Yes.
or very close by where the year built and the square footage, and it's a similar neighborhood with solar panels to actually give you value for the solar panels you've put on. Does that all make sense?
Yes, a little bit. So
That's a lot of information in a short time, but
what is the schooling? This sounds like a major. Like I can go to OU and major in home appraisals, because there seems a lot more than what I thought goes into it.
so there's some different levels, and you just
Okay.
go to school for it.
Okay.
But it takes a lot of schooling and a lot of practical practice out in the field. So here's just a quickie. So for a licensed residential appraiser, they've got to have 150 hours of approved academic courses,
Okay.
a minimum of 1,000 hours working experience in not less than 6 months. So they want them in the field for a while, not less than 6 months. They must pass the licensed residential appraiser exam. And Dave, just one step up from a licensed residential appraiser to a certified residential appraiser.
Okay.
That certified appraiser's now got to have 200 hours of approved education and a minimum of 1,500 hours of working experience before they can become a certified appraiser
Wow.
themselves.
Yeah, that goes way beyond just averaging the
It's-
price per square foot for, a couple of homes in the neighborhood.
Absolutely. 100%.
That's
So
crazy.
now let's wrap this up with don't engage in hyper exaggeration.
Okay.
So, before listing, take a realistic look at what your home actually offers. The appraiser expects that. This is really
Sure.
on the appraiser's list, not Wally's. Is it what buyers expect and want in the current market? Where does your home excel and what are its shortcomings? And are you hoping that no one's going to notice that your roof is 21 years old? Or that your heat and air system is 18 or 20 or 25 years old? It's good to go in a market where we're short on inventory and price your home as high as you can.
Sure.
But don't hype it too much. Look at your home for really what it is. Price it right. Expect and know that the appraiser is going to look at comparable sales, and they're going to look at all these things when they go in. It's just important for people to recognize that when you're selling, be realistic and also be conscious of what an appraiser can do for you.
Yes.
It's important to understand that truly the appraiser, they don't want to bust deals. They
No.
really, truly want to come in and support the values if they're there. So be realistic. I'm here to help you get the most for your home when it's time to sell, and I'd love to hear from you. If you'll be selling in the next 3 to 6 months, there's no cost for a consultation. We can do it by phone. We can do it in person. I'd love to see your home with you and offer advice about what to do, and then Dave, even what not to do when preparing your home for sale.
Sure. We'll be right back with a recorded call and 6 half-truths that can derail your home sale coming up next.
To schedule an appointment with Wally Kerr to help you or a family member buy or sell a home, call or text at 405-330-3000 or go to wallysguarantee.com. Wally will be right back with more of the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show right here on KOKC.
Best Protect Roofing and Construction has been serving the Oklahoma community since 2017 with trusted professionals and a proven track record. Best Protect Roofing and Construction has the local knowledge to ensure every roofing project is compliant and hassle-free. They offer free roof inspections to assess damage, provide accurate quotes, and recommend the best solution for your home. Call today, 405-473-9599. Best Protect Roofing and Construction.
Finding the right mortgage can be stressful, from knowing which program fits your situation the best to identifying the best terms. Hi, I'm Chris Doak with Gateway Mortgage. I work closely with you every step of the way, from pre-qualification to helping you choose the home loan that's right for you. My promise is to provide transparency, timely communication, personal service, and closings on time. Call me today at 405-253-2276. That's 405-253-2276.
NMLS 984758, Gateway Mortgage, a division of Gateway First Bank. NMLS 7233, Equal Housing Lender.
I'm Wally Kerr, and if you didn't know, there are 6 big reasons why homeowners like you choose to list their home for sale with us. First is our offer to sell your home at a price agreeable to you, or we'll buy it ourselves. How can we do this? It's reason number 2. We have hundreds of pre-vetted home buyers waiting for their dream home to come available. That home may be yours. I'll show you our list of buyers when we meet. Our partnership with Zillow is reason number 3. Zillow chose our team to help dozens of ready home buyers each and every month. Reasons 4 and 5, MLS data shows that our listings have sold faster and for more money on average for 4 years in a row. But don't take my word for it. We have hundreds of online reviews at both Google and Zillow. See what our customers say about us. I'm a 35-year broker with over 4,000 home closings. My team and I are ready to work for you. Call me at 405-330-3000 at your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, or simply visit wallyhasthebuyers.com. I look forward to talking to you myself. Call me at 330-3000. 330-3000.
If you or a family member will be selling or buying a home and would like to schedule an appointment with Wally, call 405-330-3000 or go to wallysguarantee.com. Now back to the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show with Wally Kerr.
We have a call this morning. Right before we do that, Wally, give us the number that if someone else is listening right now and they have a question for you, how can they record their question and get it answered on the air?
Right. You can call any time of week and just record your question on a recorded line. You don't have to talk to us here on the show. It's real simple. You call 1-844-211-3817. Type in ID number 1234 when you're prompted. So again, it's 1-844-211-3817. It's ID number 1234. You'll just hear a greeting from me. This is, hey, thanks for calling today.
Okay.
And you can record your message and we'll address it on this week's show. Let's roll that question that we got in this week. At least we've got time for one call today, Dave.
Hey, Wally. My name is Joe. I have a surviving parent who isn't ready for assisted living or adult living yet. We'd like to find her a townhome, patio home, something in a good area within a reasonable budget. And I'm looking for some input from you and suggestions that you have. I thank you in advance for answering my question. Thank you.
Okay, Joe, hey, thanks for calling in. I think as so many of us have parents that are aging,
Yes.
that this is a really good question. You know, condominiums are an option. Townhomes are an option. I know lots of seniors who have a companion, a little dog.
Yes.
And so condominiums aren't always the best answer because there's not typically a fenced area.
That's true.
And you can have other pets that are out in the open. Maybe they get along, maybe they don't.
Yes.
So there's some garden homes with very small yards that you could probably cut in most cases with a weed eater, but a good place to let your dog outside and do his business and just to be out in the great outdoors.
And I've heard them also referred to as patio homes. Is that the
patio
same
homes
thing?
and townhomes are the same.
Nice
I'd say a
little
patio
small-
home and a townhome in some cases will have maybe a little bit bigger yard, or they may not have any yard at all.
Oh, okay. So,
And some of this gets into what's going to be covered. Recently, one of our listeners listed a property for sale. She owned what used to be a duplex, but they're condominiums.
okay.
And so the association takes care of everything on the outside. It's very much like a condo, but she has a nice, good-sized yard where she does gardening,
Yes.
which is super nice. Plenty of room for her pet to go outside. It maintains everything from the drywall out, except in this case, the carport. And she has
Okay.
to maintain her own carport.
Right, okay.
So the dues there cover lawn care, painting, roofing, exterior maintenance,
Okay,
even the
good.
street that
Okay.
runs through the neighborhood. Condominiums, when you're part of a condo, you're obviously paying for the insurance on the outside of the building. You're paying for maintenance of the pool, the common grounds, the sprinkler systems, the parking lots, the exterior maintenance of the buildings.
Wow.
And so you just insure the inside of the property with renter's insurance,
Okay.
just like you're a tenant.
Okay.
You own the unit, but if there's 140 condominiums, you own 1/140th of the entire project.
I didn't think of it that way.
And you're putting
Yeah.
money into a pot that says when it needs to be done, I'm going to allow the association to manage it. So in answer to your question, Joe, I think that the Metro and most of the cities in the Metro have addressed the needs of those who are looking for less maintenance, maybe no maintenance at all with
Yes.
a yard, like down with some of the lofts down in Oklahoma City, down in downtown that are so beautiful.
Yes.
Some of the communities are gated and some are not. If you know a senior, or if you're thinking yourself about making a move, we have lots of options available all across the Metro without going into specific neighborhoods. Patio homes, garden homes, townhomes, condominiums, lofts, you name it. We've got the options here in Oklahoma
I like
City.
the idea of, you're right, moving yourself in or moving a parent in, and it's like you could just wipe your hands of it. You pay that fee, everything else is taken care of for you, because if you have an older mother or father that maybe can't get around as well, that's a great option. They can enjoy a nice little yard and not have to do all the work for it.
My mother is 90, Dave, and she's not to the point where she needs to be in assisted living or senior living yet, and
Okay.
she wants her independence. But she's also living on 2 acres. Love you, Mom. If you're listening today, I know you love the birds and the acreage, and we want you to stay there as long as possible. There will come a day when we don't want to put Mom into senior living or assisted living, and we'd like to give her as much independence as possible. A little one-story, 1,000, 1,200 square foot property would be great. Mom, that may not be what you want, but we're always up for what you want as long as it fits your lifestyle.
So
And I love
now,
you, Mom.
though, at least, though, you got your mom out of using a push mower, and she's using a riding mower now, right?
Well,
For the
she is,
teenagers.
yes. Mom is, I bet the listeners don't want to hear that, but my 90-year-old mom is still riding her riding lawnmower, and
Oh,
all
my
I can say
goodness.
is the neighbors watch out for her. She's very careful. It's got a safety switch if she falls off. And truly, I think, Mom, you do more sightseeing on your riding mower than you do mowing, don't you? I just told on you.
Okay, so here's a interesting topic. We're going to get into this now. 6 half-truths that can derail your home sale. And I think it's interesting that we're calling these half-truths, because I feel like this is something that maybe I've heard in passing, or it was one of those, I don't want to say an old wives' tale, but you always heard, do this or don't do that. And now we're going to kind of confirm what maybe is a truth that could derail that home sale that we want to look out for.
So whether you're listed for sale with me or not, and I'm your realtor, I'm not, I don't want your home sale to fall through.
Sure.
And so I targeted some things that have most commonly caused our deals to fall through. A lot of these items, Dave, are actually addressed on the Oklahoma disclosure statement. So you're aware when you and I
Yes.
bought a home, when
Yes.
you bought a home and I helped you and Kim and your family, you got a statement that was filled out by the seller. When a seller fills out a disclosure statement, they have answers to questions. And sometimes you can look at those and say, well, I'm just not really sure here that there's a problem, but I think there is. That's where we get into the half-truths.
Okay.
Let's hop right into these. So many sellers will say, hey, all the plumbing and electrical in the home are just fine.
Oh, hold on. You just said
So
just fine.
that probably depends on the age of the home.
Sure.
I'd say most homes that are 5, 10, 15, 20 years old may not have any electrical problems at all.
Yes.
But plumbing and electrical is a big, huge topic. Do you have problems with outlets that are flipping off? Do you have problems with ground fault interrupt breakers? Do you run an appliance and it clips a breaker? Do you have one that flips off consistently? What about
Yes.
plumbing? When I get into plumbing and electrical, I want to run into item number 2, and that is sewer line issues or slow drains. So first of all, sewer line issues can exist when that sewer line's been in the yard for a long, long time.
Yes.
They can belly over time to where they actually sink into the ground a bit. You get some backups. The big one is tree roots. So in neighborhoods,
Oh,
we got a lot of
yes.
trees here in the
Yes.
metro in many neighborhoods. And those tree roots on some older sewer lines can penetrate and cause the water to drain slow. As you can guess, digging up a sewer line and replacing it, that's a big ticket item.
Yes.
For our sellers, I would say today, be very careful and be truthful about what's happened with your sewer line. If it's had tree roots and it's happened several times, I would be very careful to go in and be very clear about that and tell the truth.
Sure.
And don't get caught telling someone that you don't have any problems with plumbing or sewer lines if you indeed have had recurring problems.
If you've had a problem with the sewer line bellying out, by saying, hey, here's 2 instances where this occurred, we fixed it, it's in this area, that would go a long way, I think, as a buyer, saying, look, they've already taken necessary steps to fix a couple of problems that have occurred in the past. They're telling me they did it, and now they're kind of at least able to walk away. The seller is able to kind of walk away going, I told them what I've done, what could happen.
Yeah, be honest about that. There was some plumbing called Orangeburg plumbing that some of our listeners will remember. I think it was outlawed in the late 60s or early 70s, and it was basically a clay pipe.
Yes.
It was going to deteriorate over time and get penetrated by tree roots.
Yep.
I'm going to skip forward to the next one, Dave, which blows so many contracts out, and that is when someone says, there's no problem with my windows. So there's a question on the state disclosure form that's a loaded question, and it says, do you know of any problems or conditions affecting the foundation, the roof, the walls, the ceilings, the cellar, the fence, the windows? So a lot of us know that we've got some fogged thermopane windows.
Yes.
Maybe you've got some inside your home. That's a double pane window. When builders build homes, they don't put in windows that are going to last forever. So they're what we call an insulated window, thermopane.
Yes.
There's a pane on the outside, a pane on the inside, and then a dead space in the middle.
Yes.
That's typically filled with what's called argon gas on the inside.
And that's sealed.
It's sealed, but it's not going to last forever.
That's right.
So it begins to fog, and I've had homes several months ago. We talked about a woman's home that I sold here in the metro. There were 10 windows with broken thermopane seals.
Oh, that's right.
And the lowest estimate we could find was over $7,000.
Wow.
Because glass has been at such a premium.
Yes.
So if you have thermopane windows and you fill out a disclosure statement and you say, there's nothing wrong with my windows, and then you put it under contract, now it's off the market, buyer does inspections, here comes the appraiser, you're off the market for 2 weeks, you try to negotiate repairs, and all of a sudden this home inspector says, you got 12 windows with broken seals, you go out and get an estimate, it's $4,000 or $5,000. The question is, have you budgeted for that? How are you going to feel about that? You've got the opportunity to walk away and not sell the home and put it back on the market, but now you also have the obligation to disclose what you know.
Yes.
So windows are a big one. That's the big ticket item that really busts out a lot of contracts. Be careful about saying new roof shingles or new heat and air when you may have replaced that system new 5 years ago, and you might be likely to tell a realtor and say it's a new system. So the realtor goes in and advertises the home, or you advertise my owner at Zillow and say, new roof shingles and new heat and air. Dave, how long do you have to use those systems before they're not new anymore?
Depending on how hot or cold it gets, how much exertion is on that system. If that's 5 years old, it may be starting to act like a 9-year-old.
Okay, Dave, I'm going to go back to this. You're going to go out, you're going to buy a car today. You drive it off the lot, and tomorrow, is it a new car?
No.
This is where I'm trying to go.
Yes.
It's with a heat and air system. You could say it's new, but I would be very careful to use the words recently replaced, nearly new, replaced in 2023. So be very careful about what you state. If the windows have been opened or shut and were installed 6 months ago, I'd be using the words windows replaced 6 months ago. Windows were new 6 months ago. But you want to be very careful about misleading statements to say something is brand new.
So HVAC replaced 5 years ago.
What about a dishwasher? If you go wash one load of dishes, is it still new? So just think about those ideas in your head and don't derail your home sale. The last one that I had down on my list today was what mold problem, Wally? I saw something under the cabinet and I sprayed it with some bleach and wiped it with a cloth and it went away. So be careful about mold and mildew. And I would say disclose what you know. Don't let a home inspector derail your sale by finding evidence that there was mold or there is mold and discounting and saying, oh, that's not a problem. I would get that checked out professionally because people are really, really scared about mold.
Yes.
Water in the heat and air ducts is another really, really big one.
Yes.
I've got a home I'm working on right now that has had some water in the heat and air ducts, and they need to be cleaned, and they need to be fogged, and they need to be sealed, and there's a couple of joints underneath the home that have pulled apart. Be very, very careful also if your heat and air ducts are in the floor. If you knew that you've had water inside a duct, the home inspector will probably catch that.
Yes.
And, if you don't want to go fix it, got a chance that that's going to, again, derail your home sale.
Well, once again, that's a lot of great wisdom from Wally, which leads us right into, after the break, Wally's Weekly Wisdom. And we're going to start the 5-part series on what not to say when you're selling your home. Stick around.
To schedule an appointment with Wally Kerr to help you or a family member buy or sell a home, call or text at 405-330-3000 or go to wallysguarantee.com. Wally will be right back with more of the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show right here on KOKC.
Best Protect Roofing and Construction has been serving the Oklahoma community since 2017 with trusted professionals and a proven track record. Best Protect Roofing and Construction has the local knowledge to ensure every roofing project is compliant and hassle-free. They offer free roof inspections to assess damage, provide accurate quotes, and recommend the best solution for your home. Call today, 405-473-9599. Best Protect Roofing and Construction.
Finding the right mortgage can be stressful, from knowing which program fits your situation the best to identifying the best terms. Hi, I'm Chris Doak with Gateway Mortgage. I work closely with you every step of the way, from pre-qualification to helping you choose the home loan that's right for you. My promise is to provide transparency, timely communication, personal service, and closings on time. Call me today at 405-253-2276. That's 405-253-2276.
NMLS 984758. Gateway Mortgage, a division of Gateway First Bank. NMLS 7233, Equal Housing Lender.
Looking for your dream home? They're hard to find right now, aren't they? The best homes are being gobbled up quickly by home buyers like you who are finding the best homes at the best prices before you can get to them. Feeling frustrated? Stop the insanity and get on board with a real estate team that will do the work for you. We've got access to off-market homes that other agents don't know about and other buyers can't find. Why? My Guaranteed Home Sale program brings me home sellers every week who would like me to buy their home right now. We call it shadow inventory. Many of these sellers are ready to sell, but just aren't ready to put their home on the market. And some of them want the process to be quick and easy without having to get their home ready and endure a string of showings. Make sense? If you'd like to access these homes and other off-market properties, call me today. Tell me you heard the show when you call. Let's find your perfect home together. I'm Wally Kerr at Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, 330-3000. Call me today at 330-3000.
If you or a family member will be selling or buying a home and would like to schedule an appointment with Wally, call 405-330-3000 or go to wallysguarantee.com. Now back to the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show with Wally Kerr.
It's time for Wally's Weekly Wisdom. This is where
you make that sound a lot more glamorous than what it is, Dave.
You're going to shine bright like a diamond, my friend.
You learn a lot over 36 years in the business.
Yes.
Some of it comes from the School of Hard Knocks, and I do feel like that's one of the things that I offer to anyone who's buying or selling.
100%.
Listen, if you've got kids or grandkids, I've said this before, and you'd like them to work with somebody who's really experienced and have a great experience buying or selling, send them my way. I'd love to help out.
This is a 5-part series on what not to say when selling your home. And so as we kick this off our first week, what's the first thing not to say when selling your home?
You bet. Already got these written for the next 5 weeks. We'll cover 2 today. Number 1 is I would never tell a buyer I got transferred for my job. So, Dave, 17% of people surveyed by the moving company Allied Van Lines said they'd been relocated for a job. So about 1 in 5 people.
Yes.
And home buyers can think that you're desperate to sell fast, that you don't want to leave the home behind. Utilities, insurance, break-in, getting it mowed, taking care of a pool, whatever it is.
Yes.
So it can lead them to just make a lowball offer.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you want to be very careful about not sharing too much information. And again, we've got 5 weeks of these, so I invite you to join back and learn what all of these are. Number 2 is we need a lower house payment. So,
Okay.
Dave, if I told you I needed a lower house payment, what do you think you might be able to read into that?
You got laid off from your job.
There you
and
go.
you need to, you're looking for a job and you can't afford the house right now. You are, again, a motivated seller. You need to get out of this house.
What's motivated seller mean to my sales price?
Going down?
Probably going down, right?
Yes.
Don't like that. So there's a couple of reasons why ever saying we need a lower house payment is a bad idea. You don't want to give that impression that, first of all, that the home is expensive or overpriced or going to cost too much to keep or maintain. Might get people wondering about how much the electrical bills are.
How much is it going to cost
utility
me
bills.
when I move in?
Electricity, gas, is it poorly insulated? Was it not a well-built home?
Sure.
Is it just too high a house for the neighborhood it's in? So you just don't want home buyers to presume that your finances are in such poor shape that you might accept a lowball offer.
Yes.
Simply put, never discuss your financial situation, and certainly just don't tell someone that you just got a job and you need to move quickly. You really need to sell the home because you're messing with your most valuable asset in
That's
life,
right.
and you
That's
don't
right.
want to give them ammunition for that price to come down.
Absolutely.
So we'll share those two this week. I'll share more next week and in the weeks to come.
Fantastic. All right, it's time for open houses and new listings of the week. And Wally, it's back. Hold on, let me do this. There's our music. Okay?
Hey, I like it. I like it.
Yeah, we missed it last week, and I had somebody ask me, well, where's the fun music when you do the open houses?
Yeah, sure.
So here we go.
So got a couple of new properties to tell our listeners about. I have not listed a duplex in a long time.
Okay.
So listed a duplex in Norman, about a mile and a half from the OU campus. Gosh, Dave, I think it was built in the 90s, if I'm not incorrect. It's a much newer duplex and really well taken care of. Flooring, paint, appliances, heat and air, roofs, just a good property. This duplex is about 2,650 feet. It's priced at $320,000.
Okay.
Dave, I looked in all of Norman when we put it on the market with my friends the other night. I helped them in real estate 20 years ago. And they came back and they had bought this from his mother or her mother. Do you know that in Norman, when we looked the other night, there's only one duplex for sale in all of Norman?
All of Norman.
The whole city.
Wow.
It was built in
Okay.
1940, and it was $275,000, or renting for something like $750, $800 per side.
Okay.
This particular duplex, Dave, is rented at $975 per side. The tenants are in it until May of 2024, so the income is already there.
Okay.
And these units are under rented. They're not at market value. My sellers have been very, very nice to the tenants for many, many years and have not raised the rent. Certainly the lease rates could be higher. So if you're looking for an investment or a duplex that's easy to rent, this is in a very, very good area in a nice area of Norman. And then this is an unusual situation. I have a homeowner that owns a property just south of the state capitol.
Okay.
He's been using this as an Airbnb or a short-term rental for traveling nurses. Who will maybe come in to work for, whether it's 2 weeks or 2 months or 3 months or 6 months.
And that's just up the road from the OU Medical Center and
the Health Sciences Center.
Yes.
So he would like to sell this property. It's very cute, very nice, hardwood floors. He'd like to sell it for $275,000.
Okay.
But he'd like to lease it right back for $1,700 a month. He wants to sell the property, access his capital, access his money, but go right back and sign a 2 or 3 year lease at $1,700 a month. And those numbers work pretty good, especially when you factor in the depreciation. So if you're looking for an investment, this week the new listings I talked about was purposeful to talk about a couple of possible investments for our listeners. A duplex with 2 units, rented right now at $975 per side, that could be higher. And then this property very near the state capitol and the Health Sciences Center. Dave, we got 4 open houses this weekend. I will either be in Edmond at 15713 Cambria Court. That home has now been reduced to sell. It's $619,500. 4-bed, 3-bath, 3-car. Built in 2015, beautiful farmhouse style on the inside, about 3,500 square feet with 2 bedrooms up and 2 bedrooms down. And that's going to be open Sunday from 2 to 4.
Okay.
I'll either be there or I will be in Norman at the 5,200 square foot home we have for sale at 1200 Southern Hills Circle. That's also 2 to 4 on Sunday. Dave, I'll be at one of those, and then Jessica Hatfield on our team will be at the other one.
I know which one you'll be at. You'll be at the one with the pool.
Well, maybe not. Most likely I'll probably be in Edmond this weekend, but the home with the pool and the spa
is in Norman.
Is on 2 acres and backs up to a golf course. 2 miles from the OU campus.
Okay.
Beautiful property, 5 bedrooms. There are 3 bedrooms down, 2 bedrooms up, 4.5 baths. Lots of remodeling done on the inside, and perhaps the largest master bathroom that you will ever walk into.
Really?
1200 Southern Hills Circle. That's been reduced to $950,000. Come out and see us. Those are open Sunday, 2 to 4. We have 2 more. We've got one in Choctaw.
Okay.
Open on 5 acres with the shop building.
Nice.
My great agent, Kelly Duran, will be there. It's $450,000. I believe that home is somewhere in the 25, 26, 2,700 feet.
Okay.
Really great property. That's 4801 South Henney Road in Choctaw. That's open Sunday, 2 to 4. And our last open house is a Norman home that was just listed at 108 Bailey Court. That would be off of Main Street and Northwest 48th Avenue in Norman. This is a 2,700 square foot home. in Grand Pool, great neighborhood called Cambridge with a community park. It was actually named after one of the children that was killed in the Murrah bombing.
Really?
Way back in 95.
Wow.
Yes, I remember when they
Okay.
named. Nice big park, trees, got a community fishing lake with a half-mile jogging path
Oh,
or
nice.
walking path around it and picnic tables. So 108 Bailey Court open just 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. with Patrick Moore on my team. He's a 23-year agent. Glad to have him with us. That's in West Norman. Come out and see us this weekend at open houses. And if you've got any interest, maybe in investment property, maybe either two of these listings I mentioned today, or just maybe buying a cheaper home and building what we call generational wealth,
Yes.
buying a home that you pay off and give to your kids or grandkids that will produce a stream of incomes for them. We love helping people build generational wealth for their families and kids.
Well, Wally, we'll just let this music roll just a little bit longer. As I tell
I
you,
like it.
We're going to wrap up the show next with why our home prices haven't fallen. Stick around.
To schedule an appointment with Wally Kerr to help you or a family member buy or sell a home, call or text at 405-330-3000 or go to wallysguarantee.com. Wally will be right back with more of the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show right here on KOKC.
The market is shifting. Do you know what to do? If you're selling a home, you need to realize that market demand is changing, and it's changing now. More homes are coming on the market than homes that are actually selling, so the inventory is going up. What does rising inventory mean? Prices can soften. It's important you get on the train right now and understand what you need to do to sell a home. First of all, my guaranteed home sale program will create more demand for your home because I can buy someone else's home so that they can buy yours. If you're thinking about selling by owner, I can create more demand for your home than you can ever create on your own. I'm Wally Kerr, and I believe in aggressive marketing. My wife and I have done this for 36 years together, and we now have a team of 28 people. If you'd like to create more demand for your home so that your home will sell faster and for top dollar, give me a call today at 405-330-4000 at Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. I'd love to meet with you and discuss a strategy and plan for getting your home sold. Call me at 330-4000. I look forward to talking to you myself.
Finding the right mortgage can be stressful, from knowing which program fits your situation the best to identifying the best terms. Hi, I'm Chris Stoke with Gateway Mortgage. I work closely with you every step of the way, from pre-qualification to helping you choose the home loan that's right for you. My promise is to provide transparency, timely communication, personal service, and closings on time. Call me today at 405-253-2276. That's 405-253-2276.
NMLS 984758. Gateway Mortgage, a division of Gateway First Bank. NMLS 7233. Equal housing lender.
Best Protect Roofing and Construction has been serving the Oklahoma community since 2017 with trusted professionals and a proven track record. Best Protect Roofing and Construction has the local knowledge to ensure every roofing project is compliant and hassle-free. They offer free roof inspections to assess damage, provide accurate quotes, and recommend the best solution for your home. Call today, 405-473-9599. Best Protect Roofing and Construction.
If you or a family member will be selling or buying a home and would like to schedule an appointment with Wally, call 405-330-3000 or go to wallysguarantee.com. Now back to the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show with Wally Kerr.
Well, Wally, as we wrap things up, we're going to talk about why our home prices haven't fallen. And I was just thinking about this last night before going to bed, thinking about the show. And I know that the inventory of homes for sale is increasing while the number of newly reported sales is dropping week after week.
That's
so
right.
With that combination and more homes still coming on the market, why haven't home prices fallen?
You know, Dave, back about 6 or 8 months ago, I looked at some data in Edmond, in Norman, in Moore, in Yukon, Mustang, and it looked like prices had fallen back just a little bit for a very short period of time.
Okay.
The biggest decrease I saw was about 2.2%, but they jumped back up. So in answer to your question, which is really a good one, median list prices did tumble more in the bigger markets, a little bit here.
Okay.
San Jose, Seattle, Boise, Idaho, Denver, San Diego. Those are the markets that fell the most because they went up the fastest.
And those are places that are usually a little bit more volatile as well.
That's right. But then they flattened out.
Okay.
And they dipped a little bit and then going right back up again.
That's due to the lack of homes for sale.
That's right, Dave.
Okay.
So while high prices and rates are hurdles to buying a home, you know, many buyers are still making the math work today. And there's a severe housing shortage across the nation and here too. It's causing buyers to compete or choose from just a very limited number of properties. Dave, I can remember days, when I say back in the day, I'm probably taking us back to maybe the early 2000s.
Okay.
Maybe before 2010. And I can remember, you'd go pull up an average neighborhood. Maybe you were going to show a customer homes in the 250 to 325 range, or maybe tighter, maybe 250 to 300, and they wanted a 2,200 square foot home with 3 or 4 bedrooms. And I might have 35 or 40 homes to choose from. And that's just not the case because there aren't as many homes for sale today.
And that's perfect because that just jumped into my head because I'm putting 2 and 2 together. Yes, more homes are going on the market. The number of homes are increasing, but that number is relatively or quite a bit lower than what normally is out there.
Absolutely.
So that's why the values are really kind of holding, because it's not that like, oh, we're just flooding the market. Yes, more are coming on, but that's a really small number of homes that are increasing versus year over year what's happened.
Yeah, you're right, Dave. So just to give you an idea, so over the last 60 days in the Oklahoma City MLS, there were just over 1,650 closings between $100,000 and $250,000.
Okay.
But the closed price was within 1% of the listed price. 1% negotiation on average.
Wow.
Do you know that even applies in the $300,000 to $400,000 price range? And even, Dave, when you get up above $500,000, $600,000, up to even $700,000, I'm really seeing the listed price to closed price ratio at 98%, 98.5%. In other words, sellers, even in those price ranges, are really not negotiating more than maybe 1 to 1.5% off the listed price. Now, here's the kicker. That's the sales price of the home. In some cases, sellers may be paying some closing costs for the buyer.
Oh, okay.
And that may not be factored in. So I've not been able to study that yet to see what the average was, say, a year ago or 2 years ago for sellers paying closing costs. But that's probably gone up a bit because a lot of buyers need help with closing costs.
That sounds unprecedented because no one likes what the interest rates are doing right now. Now, again, they were manufactured a couple of years ago, but still earlier this year, we were down the high 5s, low
high 6s, really.
Really? Okay. Mm-hmm. And now we're up in the 7s.
Now we're in the mid 7s, right?
And we don't know if it's really going to come down just yet. So we haven't had a bust yet, but
we haven't.
This is okay.
So when interest rates are high, Dave, the economy is doing well, and the Fed considers raising rates. And when the economy is robust, more folks are just in a position to buy.
Yes.
So you know what's going to happen when rates drop 2%, when they drop back down into the 5s? Even this week, Barbara Corcoran was quoted last week stating that all hell's going to break loose once the Fed cuts rates and mortgages get cheaper. Every buyer on the sideline is going to jump into the market so long as the interest rates come down to, say, 5% is what she said. She said even 4%, and that sounds low to me. And houses are going to go up in price all over again, says Corcoran.
How likely are we to see rates maybe at 4% again?
I'd have to leave that one, Dave, in the hands of Bill Gates. He predicted, about COVID, and then here came COVID. He talks about a lot of things with cybersecurity and AI. I think he's an interesting man to watch and listen to for what is coming. I'd say right now, just realize that rates are probably going to stay where they are for a while. And it may be next year before we see rates back into, either the low 6s or maybe into the 5s.
But you mentioned those home values are really going to go up. If you buy now at 7.25%, you can refinance.
Well, sure. You can lock in at least the sales price right now while the market's not quite as strong, and then go back and refinance next year. Yeah. So we're here to give our listeners the best information. If I can help you this week or any week, call me or text me at 330-3000. After the show today and after the show on Sunday, we repeat our Saturday morning show, Sundays at noon, for our listeners that don't get up quite as early in the morning. So if you ever got any real estate question, either text me or call me anytime.
I always like to mention this, and I don't say it often enough. This is really cool. If you want to know approximate value of your home and you don't really want to call anybody, you could text Wally again at 330-3000. Text your address on a scale of 1 to 10. It's in pretty good shape. I've done some remodeling. I think it's an 8 or an 8.5. Wally's going to get back to you within a day or two and give you again, kind of an approximate value, something to kind of jump off with.
We're going to try to knock those out as quickly as possible. So when you text in, probably get it done within 24 hours. Always happy to provide that service and always great to be here with you on Saturdays.
You're going to be out and about at some homes this weekend.
Yeah, we'll be out working this weekend. Love to see you. If you have a chance to come by open house, come see us. Shoot me a text. Dave, look forward to seeing you next weekend.
We'll see you.
You've been listening to the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show with Wally Kerr. Heard every Saturday morning at 7 a.m. and replayed on Sundays at noon right here on 1520 a.m. and 95.3 FM KOKC. Wally's name is his promise. Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. To speak with Wally directly about selling your home or buying, call or text him to schedule an appointment at 405-330-3000, 405-330-3000, or go to wallysguarantee.com. That's wallysguarantee.com.